Hello, hello. How are you, Annette?
I am. Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm doing awesome.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Can We Talk? You are tuned in to Can We Talk? It's brought to you by Movement Worldwide. We are the movement. We're a motivational organization veered to educate minds, empower, nurture, and transform. We are a movement to move. Yes, we are a movement to move. We want to help you thrust into your purpose so that you can start living the best version of yourself and win. We tapped into some winning information with some winners resources. We're seated at the winners table and we invite you to take a seat right along with us. Right, Annette?
That is so right. And we come on every Wednesday, and you would think after all this time we've been on, the table would be filled, but we still got all kind of room. So please come join us and sit at this table and sup with us. We
Yes,
appreciate
yes,
you.
yes, yes, yes. We appreciate you so much. You could have gone anywhere else and done anything else with your time, but you chose to stop right back here, right by here, and have a conversation with your co-hosts, Anita Wilson and Annette Anderson. And yes, we're here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. without fail. And we want to take care of a couple of things right now before we get into our discussion. The first thing is we want to make sure that you subscribe to our channel. Whatever channel you are on right now, make sure you subscribe. The other thing we want you to do is to look at the bottom of that video, whether on Facebook or YouTube, and make sure you like the video. Give it a thumbs up, like, a heart, or whatever. The other thing is click the share button and share this video with somebody. Share it with a friend, share it with a coworker, lottie-dottie, everybody. Just share it. We want to have everybody on that we possibly can. The other thing we want you to do is to make sure that you follow us on all social media platforms. We are Movement Worldwide just about everywhere. Just look for our logo and you'll see us. The other thing that we want to make sure that we get into your hearing tonight is that you sow a seed into good soil. To donate, you can donate a couple of ways. One is via Cash App, and that is $Movement Worldwide. Again, $Movement Worldwide. The other way is to become a patron. And the way you become a patron is, well, actually, that means to come into covenant with us. You sow a seed monthly. We ask for $12 a month. That's just 40 cents a day. But whatever the amount is greatly appreciated. Some set it for more. So we appreciate all gifts. And trust me, we do need them. And it is a good seed into good soil. And the way you become a patron is you go to our website. And on our website, movementworldwide.org, there's a button that says become a patron. You click that button. It will take you to a site called Patreon.com, and you will click the link and go through the process and sign up for Patreon and set your amount. So again, your presence being here means more to us than anything, but we do also love the presence, PRESENTS.
Yes,
So
yes.
your gifts and your seeds are greatly appreciated. No matter how small or how large the amount is greatly appreciated. So again, thank you all again so much. And we're going to get into our conversation right now. We are excited each and every week to have this discussion with you. Are y'all ready to have this discussion? Hello, Francesca. I see a couple of other ones on. Let us know you're here. Drop us a message. Let us know. Be sure to join in the chat because it gets real chatty on here. And
Yes.
tonight, our conversation, Brenda says, ready. I'm sure you are, Brenda. Our topic, our transformational topic tonight is the GOAT. That acronym, G.O.A.T, meaning greatest of all times. Now, in sports, fans argue all the time over who's the greatest. I used to get into this argument with my nephew about Kobe Bryant versus LeBron James. Oh my God. He was such a Kobe Bryant person. And I was like, well, Kobe, you couldn't take anything from him. He was definitely a GOAT. But I said,
Yeah.
so is LeBron, because LeBron's record outdid Kobe's. So you have to give LeBron his props. I don't like LeBron. I'm like, see, y'all going about who like, whatever. Might not give people their props. So that's what the acronym is the GOAT, G-O-A-T. And it's usually used to describe people who are great at whatever they do, or talent or skill that supersedes the natural human ability in most cases. Usually a person who you refer to as a GOAT can do something that normal people just can't do, like how Michael Jordan used to fly. That man
Oh my
literally
gosh.
flew. I've never
Yes.
seen anybody like that. That man literally flew. So in most cases, people from the outside looking in will give people this title. However, sometimes people will have the nerve to go as far as to label themselves. One of the things that used to annoy me, Annette, about the former resident, and I do the P in parentheses because I silenced the person, but the former resident of the United States, he was always one who tooted his own horn. A narcissist toots their own horn.
Yeah.
Never waits for anybody else to compliment them. And that used to annoy me so much because he used to always say stuff like, well, they say, who is they? They say I should get the Nobel Peace Prize. I'm like, wow, this man really he really needed affirmation constantly. And he always did his own horn, and he was always the best. Nobody's ever done it better than any other one before. Everything was better than before.
Yeah.
Never waiting for somebody to give you a compliment. Can you stand? Doesn't that annoy you where you can't, somebody asks for a compliment?
Yeah, and I think he was exception to the rule because he even wait for your ass. A lot of times the conversation wasn't even about that. He'll just say, "Oh, I'm the greatest." "Oh yeah, I done that." Always it was constant affirmation. Yeah, he wasn't the greatest all time, but in his mind he was.
Yes.
Yeah, in his mind.
But see, when somebody has to ask for it, though, that's how you know it's from, what they do is not from the heart. That what
that's
they do
right.
is because the thing is, you don't ask for it, your work will shine. Your gift, when you do something, your gift will make room for you. People will notice. People will notice who you are, and your work will speak for itself. You know a tree by the fruit they bear.
That's right.
So, but then in this day and age, everybody wants to be the best. Everybody wants to be a leader. Everybody wants to be the boss. Everybody wants to be the GOAT. Everybody wants to be the OG. Remember, OG was a saying. And that, it reminds me, everybody wants to be, everybody's got to be, the best. I'm reminded of Cat Williams in the movie First Sunday when he was fussing at the choir. And he said, see, you singing from a place of pain and anger. Everybody can't be a black butterfly. Somebody got to be a big old ugly moth. I'm like, why he singing that? I got so tickled. Of course, I love movies, but that particular movie had me cracking up so much. There's so many funny sayings in there, and that was one that just had me cracking up. And I thought about it. He said, somebody got to be a big old ugly moth. I'm like, oh my God. But in order to be a GOAT or a boss, you have to first learn how to follow.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to follow. So when you learn how to follow, then you can be a boss. In order for sometimes people need that more so than they need air. They need
I wonder why.
To get the accolades. I don't know. You know what? We have a tendency to equate success with doing well with accolades. So what happens is that we circumvent the whole purpose and we end up walking the thin line of hypocrisy. So I'm going to go to a passage of scripture because, this is our transformational topic. The passage of scripture tonight is from Matthew 23:11-12 that says, but he who is greatest among you shall be your servant, and whosoever exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. And when I look at this passage, I'm like, oh my God. That is so true. I remember Betty, my cousin Betty said something to me a while back. Actually, I was like 19 or 20 years old, and I came to her house and she wanted me to sing. I was playing her all my little music. She's like, girl, get on the piano and play a song and sing it for me. So I got on the piano and I started singing. He looked beyond my faults and saw my needs. She called everybody that she worked with. I mean, it was about maybe an hour it took her to get all these people over to the house. She called her husband across the street and she said, sing that song again. I must have sang that song like 5 times that day. And she said, see, I'm going to tell you something. She has what you call a humbling voice, because you'll walk around here and think you're the greatest, and you pumping yourself up and you letting people pump you up, and there'll be somebody that just walks up off the street that will humble you and make you realize that what you have, if you don't use it right, somebody else, God will bring somebody up. And even if you're using it, there'll always be somebody to remind you that you are who you are by the grace of God. And that spoke volumes with me. And when I look at this passage of scripture, it says, and whosoever exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. Don't sit around and try to create your GOAT status. Don't try to create it. The Bible speaks of Jesus as a meek and humble lamb. He humbly served. He humbly gave his life. He's the real GOAT. If you want to deal with the real greatest of all times, he's the real GOAT. Jesus, somebody type that in. Jesus is the real GOAT. Type that in. That's a good one. Jesus is the real GOAT, because that's the thing. He is the true original greatest of all times, period. The real GOAT. And when we think of it from that perspective, it might, hey, if that's not enough to humble you, I don't know what is. If that's not enough to humble us, I don't know what is. But
I'm telling you,
if I'm ever going to live up to a GOAT status, I have to learn how to walk in the likeness of the original, true greatest of all times. There's an introduction that I found by Steve Harvey, and I'm going to read that really quick. He did this introduction to Jesus. I want to share this with you tonight before we go. He said, it is my honor to introduce a man that needs no introduction. His credits are too long to list. He has done the impossible time after time. He hails out of a manger in Bethlehem by way of heaven. His mother is still headlining in the Catholic Church today. His daddy is the author of a book that has been the number one bestseller since the beginning of time. He holds the record for the world's greatest fish fry. He fed 5,000 hungry souls and with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. He can walk on water and turn water into wine with no special effects and no camera tricks. He has a headshot on every church fan across the country. Even before the kings of comedy, he was hailed the king of all kings, ruler of the universe, Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the bright morning star. Some say he's the Rose of Sharon, and some say he's the Prince of Peace. Get on your feet and put your hands together and show your love for the second coming of the one and only, the greatest of all times, Jesus the Christ, the Son of the living God. And when I looked at that introduction, I'm like, wow, even that ain't enough to describe how incredible Jesus is. That's why I see y'all popping in with Jesus is the real GOAT. We got it coming in, and that people, hey, y'all feeling that thing. The true and original. So I'm getting my word tonight. Of course, sometimes I have to get my word from other places. I'm getting my word tonight. And those of you who know, I like to take a word that's a verb that kind of deals with our topic, but there's no verb there that, so I looked at the word greatest. Greatest is a superlative. And what a superlative is, and it is an exaggeration of expression or praise. So when you are the greatest, you are a master at what you do. So when I looked at the word master, of course, there is only one master. But when you master what you do, that word transitive, in the transitive tense, master means, and it's only transitive, it means to acquire complete knowledge or skill of, or to greatly overcome. And we know from the word of God, as we learned on Sunday, on Power Walk Sunday, that we are more than conquerors. We are more than overcomers. Therefore, being the greatest, we are a superlative of overcomers. We are an exaggeration of expression of the master. So that's why it's important to master becoming like the master. Y'all feeling me tonight in here? That is what I'm talking about. So here we have our, in this Can We Talk segment tonight, talking about the greatest of all times. I want you to understand here, people, tonight, that you are created to be the greatest of all times. When we're walking in the image of Christ, you already have earned that title because you gave your life to the greatest of all times, and the greatest of all times lives in you and shines through you. So now you can officially type in, I'm the GOAT. Oh, type in, I know. Let me tell you something. You have to put stuff in perspective in that so that people learn that it ain't about them. It's not about you. It's not about you, Annette. It's not about you, Connie and Brenda. It's not about you. It's not about you, Francesca. It's not about you, Sonia. It's not about you, Melissa. It's not about you, LaCrystal. Oh, I see y'all pouring out tonight. It's not about you, but it's about the GOAT, the original GOAT.
The original.
Greatest of all times. It's not about you, Jesse Carrot. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk on here tonight. I got my talkers on here tonight. So y'all know that on Wednesdays we keep it light, we keep it real. We do our transformational topic, and we have some other things that we have lined up, and we're gonna keep this train moving. But that is your transformational topic for this week. So now we got time to talk. Can we talk, Annette? Can we talk, y'all? Can we talk?
Can we talk?
Hey, y'all can get your coffee mugs. All you have to do is email us at info@movementworldwide.org. Now, we're going to go on into our conversation in a minute when Missy Brenda said, I'm the GOAT. I'm the exaggerated creation of the GOAT. You better go, girl. That's what I'm talking about. See, that's what I'm talking about. The talkers on here. They got this thing going tonight, and that. They got it going tonight. And we're ready to get into this conversation. Now that you know who you are, don't have to tell me twice. I'm the GOAT. I know that's right. Oh, Jackson, she's ready. She's talking about, let's do it. All right, y'all. So we get ready to get into our discussion because we have a couple of great things. But before we do, we're going to pause for a moment from the quoteologist herself, Annette Anderson, with an Annettism, and then we'll be right back to go into our power tool.
I'm beautifully, wonderfully, and spiritually made. How do I know? 'Cause that's what God said. When I look in the mirror, what do I see? It's God's image staring back at me. You see, He loves me, adore me, and call me His friend. He even said that He'd forgive my sins. Each day I live, I try to go higher, thanking God that He sent the Messiah. I'm smart, strong, sincere, and unique. It's not just me, but God who speaks. This is Annettism's Expressions.
All right. I don't know if y'all ready. Power tool.
Hello. It is time for the power tool. There are some matters and experiences that cause people to hurt, fractured, and broken spiritually and emotionally. Sometimes, y'all, it takes a conversation to mend a broken heart of the spirit. In some cases, a Band-Aid won't do it. You need a power tool because you put that Band-Aid on, all it do is cover, and no air can get to the thing and it get infected, okay?
Come on.
So tonight, the power tool gonna be cursing in the pulpit. Cursing in the pulpit. Now I've heard so much cursing in the pulpit, and I'm just like, okay, is this real?
I think it became a phenomenon. In this day and age, yes.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, so let me just throw out a couple things at you guys. Is it okay or not? Is it okay? Tell me how y'all feel about it. Okay, let's talk about, I understand Peter cursed, but we're not talking about Peter right now. We're talking about Pastor, whoever. See, so Peter already did his cursing. Peter already cut off an ear. God already put the ear back on. And so Peter already paid for his sin. But why is this have become such just a way of life? I've been to churches when I was a visitor. I was shocked when I can't even tell y'all what he said in the pulpit. I could not believe it. And the thing was, I had family with me. Mm-hmm. And everybody looked down at me because they know I'm saved. I was like, okay. I was like, I don't know why he cursed. Ask him why he cursed. Do they do this because this is an attention grabber? What you think, Anita?
You know what? When it started happening a lot in the latter, I would say honestly, in the last 10 years, I started hearing a little here and there every now and then. I know one year it was just like a phenomenon because there was one guy. and I won't mention his name. We're not gonna name any names on here, y'all. But there was
No
one
names.
person who was like really like adamant. It was this one word that he would constantly say, and sometimes it wouldn't even be appropriate, and he would just do it to get, and everybody would go, "Ooh, child, ooh, child." Jesse Harris said, depends on the person to whom you're speaking at the situation. Listen, I'm not talking about the times that somebody get on your reserve nerve and you want to cuss them from Dan to Bathsheba, because that's when my Peter come out. But we're talking about those who are in charge or have, rule over a congregation in the church. And we're talking about straight up from the pulpit. And I have seen situations where the preacher might slip up, or not even necessarily slip up, but get angry and, will release one of the words that is actually in the Bible. But then I've also heard a couple of preachers release words that are not. And I'm like, what is that about? But honestly and truthfully, my mama said there's a couple of things that happen when a man get drunk, when he get old and start, you should just use the word man, but she said when a man get drunk and tell the truth. When a man get old and their mind start going, first thing they resort to is the true self. But the Bible says, for out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And when whatever you practice and what's in your heart, it's going to come out of your mouth. So honestly and truthfully, because we are very transparent on this show. I am one who has really had to practice to not allow myself to think and to speak that way on the regular, because I've heard a person tell me one time who was ordained a deacon, he said, I don't want to do the prayer. I said, why? He said, what if I mess around and cuss? I was like, wow. That listen up to say, some who just do it. Now, I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, but y'all have to talk to us, folk out there listening, and tell us what your thoughts are on that. Because the thing is, first of all, I remember my nephew used to think he was going to go to hell, or anybody who said a curse word here and there was going to go to hell. That's not going to make him in heaven. However, you have to be mindful that your mouth is powerful.
Yeah.
And what you say not only impacts you, but it impacts others.
Exactly. And I experienced that, and with me, see, because I was the chief cusser of the United States of America and Canada.
Wait a minute.
So
what was you preaching? What was you preaching?
But yeah. And so I understand, so I'm not a prune or nothing, but I heard a pastor one time preach, he was preaching, he cursed, and he said, told us he was going to tell us some things that were going on in his life, and he told us to stay the H out of his business. So after we got out of church, my friend started talking. I said, didn't that man tell you to stay the blah, blah out of his business? So, I made a joke of it. Because he did. He just told us, don't be, in other words, don't come to me, don't ask me nothing, don't do it. And I heard one pastor preaching say, stop the B word. I was like, that shocked me.
That was the one that aggravated me. I've heard, that's actually who I was talking with. Y'all stop the B word.
Yes.
And I'm like, but he would say it when it wasn't appropriate, when people weren't even agitated, or when things, there was no uproar going on. And I heard him do it on a couple of different occasions, and I'm like, he do that for attention.
Mm-hmm.
That's not because he just felt like that in the moment, because I've heard him say that several times.
But you know what, Anita, and we all have done this, and I'm guilty of making excuses. Oh, he just like that, girl, child, don't pay pastor no attention. He just crazy, No, pastor need to be checked. Don't do that. No, because you don't know. No.
Valerie said, Annette, if you was chief, I must have been second in command. Still cuss, pray for me. Hey, can I join you in that prayer? I fear you, preacher. Well, she must have been second in command.
Yeah,
go ahead, Annette. I'm sorry.
No, because I got delivered from that. So I guess because I've been there, it just did something to me. Because I remember I tried real hard. I used to meditate. I used to pray, God, please don't let me cuss. Don't let me cuss. Especially don't let nobody make me mad. Oh my gosh, because I'll go way back some cuss word people don't even use no more. And so when that happened, I'm like, oh my gosh. But at the end of the day, I gotta stand for me, and I gotta stand before God for that what I've done. But it to me, it does not have a place to me on a personal note, And I know we say, "Oh, pastor just crazy." Oh, pastor just like, "Oh, child, girl, don't pay pastor no attention." Because I did it. I said, "Child, I don't pay no attention. He's just crazy like that." No, some of the mothers need to want to check the bro pastor, because back in the day, need to call him bro pastor. Bro pastor, you may not want to be cussing.
Connie said, "Thank God for deliverance." I feel you, Connie.
I feel you, Connie, girl, because I know so that no.
Jassy said, "Pray for me, God still." I feel you, preacher.
Yeah.
I feel you. But listen, we all have had that moment,
Yes.
At one point or another. I mean, come on. I mean, there's some people who walk the holier than thou train. I'm not one of them. Listen, no. I don't make it a common practice, but I will say that it is something that I have had to pray about and to try and deal with in my own life. But I'm grateful to God that I haven't had those moments, but I have surely seen some.
Yeah, and let me say this before we move on. Only thing we're really saying, y'all, that shouldn't be the norm. That's all. That shouldn't be everyday Sunday, every day. I'm not talking about, because you know what? I don't know. Depending on what happens, I may have to really, look up to heaven and see if I see Jesus before I open my mouth. But what we're saying, it should not be the norm. I should not come to church every Sunday and you're cursing. That ain't cute.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. We're not saying people don't fall. Listen, until you come back in your glorified body, you subject to do anything, because you can't save flesh. Flesh acts ugly sometimes. Even some of us with our saved self, it acts up. So that's what we're saying, really.
Come on. We got one comment. Brenda said, "I believe it's done for shock and awe. Slippery slope, though. One member may laugh and it may break another spirit." You are so right. Wait a minute. I got to give Brenda a bell on that, because that is one. Let me tell you, Brenda, I think that's one of the biggest things as it relates to that, because everybody doesn't see that thing the same way. Everybody doesn't feel the same way about it. Well, it might be you, but it may break somebody else's spirit. Good one, Brand. Thank you for that. Pa 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 pa. Give her a bell and an applause. But yeah, so that's an amazing thought there. And yeah, Connie says right, and yes, it does. So overall, as it relates to cussing in the pulpit, we're gonna give that cussing in the pulpit. Oh. No, that's a no, y'all. So, but we just want to deal with it, because listen, it happens. It happens more than we think. And there are many people who have dealt with it over and over again. So great power tool, Annette. Thank you so much for that one, because we need it, and we need these, y'all. Listen, with our power tool, we're asking that you guys email us at info@movementworldwide.org, because as Annette said in the beginning, there are many situations, many experiences that cause people to hurt or to become fractured or broken spiritually and emotionally. And it doesn't necessarily always happen in the church. Sometimes it happens on a job, it happens in school, it happens in family. So whatever the situation is, please, we want to deal with the power tool each and every week. So if you have some things that you want to hear us discuss or talk about, email us or go to the website and drop us a message. We want to talk about it with you. All right. That was a good one, though. Cursing in the pulpit. Well, right now, everybody, we're going to pause for just a second, because we're getting ready to go into our tea time topics. We got the tea. So before we go into tea time topics, we're going to pause for a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back so that we could have our discussions. Y'all ready? You ready, Annette?
I'm ready, girl.
I'm ready. I'm ready to talk with our tea time topics. See my lipstick all over the cup. Tea time topics. We're ready for that tonight. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Walk into your God-given destiny with power and conviction with Power Walk Sunday, starting March 7th, each and every Sunday at 10 a.m. live on multiple platforms. TNT, that's Tuesday Night Talk with Annette L. Anderson, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. live, where you can soar. That's speak it, orated, articulated, and reverberated. When we eat well, we live well, and all will be well. Go to eatlbwell.com, join the journey, and take your life back. You can also join Eat Well, Live Well, Be Well every second and fourth Saturday at 3 p.m. for Be Well, a health and wellness series. If you don't have your copy, get yours today at Amazon.com. That's Living Life One Quote at a Time by Annette L. Anderson. And we're here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. live with Can We Talk? Your co-hosts, Annette L. Anderson and Anita Faye Wilson, with Tea Time Topics, where we discuss trending subjects and current events. You can also discuss these with your Can We Talk coffee mug. Email us at info@movementworldwide.org. They're $15, and that includes shipping. Make a donation via Cash App at $Movement Worldwide, or go to our website, click the Patron button, and sow a seed of $12 per month. That's 40 cents a day. Whatever the seed, it's greatly appreciated. Be sure to follow us on all platforms. Click the notification button, subscribe, like, and don't forget to share. It's that time. Tea Time Topics.
Tea Time Topics, y'all. All right, we are ready for Tea Time Topics. I know y'all been waiting on this. This is one of the most fun moments that we have.
Yeah.
But we have a few things that we're going to get out of the way first. That in our, I don't know, there was one, I think there was one week in that where we were saying how it was seeming like we were having these horrible reports of young Black men, where we had the young man that was soliciting sex from a 2-year-old, and then we had the veterinarian who was an African American man who was having sex with animals, and then there was the Capitol incident with a young African American. And if it's not that, it's an attack or it's the killings. And not even, before the verdict even came out, the shootings. But there are two that we're going to mention tonight. And, I'm so annoyed by this one. This one really bothers me so much because you can truly see the cover up in progress. Andrew Brown Jr. shot, first of all, being shot in the back of the head, which means a person is not a threat to you if their back is turned.
That's right.
And the thing is, the police only released the 20-second redacted video, and and some of the stipulations that were used to try and keep the family and their attorneys out of the viewing of that video were just ridiculous. And one was, because the attorney wasn't from North Carolina, and it was one thing after another, and it's always going to be redacted video, and then one view from one cop. But when you look at the autopsy report, I think it was like 3 or 4 shots in the arm and then one in the back of the head, which was the fatal shot. So as in a lot of the other shootings that we have seen, even with the young lady, Ma'Khia Bryant, why did they have to shoot her as many times as they did? What's with the multiple? Why do you have to unload your gun on somebody? And particularly with this young man who had according to his family, we haven't seen the video, but allegedly, according to his family, his hands were on the steering wheel. So I think I'm more annoyed that they have been holding it. I don't know, since we have, I've been working all day, so I've missed news updates for the last 5 or 6 hours. But the last I knew, that it was going before a judge to determine the release of the video. And they said they would release it, but it had to be determined by a judge. So I'm just annoyed by the fact that, there have been so many. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's just mind-boggling that I've seen other videos and some of the people, they were doing stuff even worse, and they try to figure out a way not to kill them.
I have seen them wrestle and fight people.
Yeah.
Who, of course they're not African American, but if it's a Black man, hands on the steering wheel, gets shot. Connie says, why did they use a non-fatal shot? Connie, I've been hearing them talk all week about how they're trained to shoot for the large extremities, and that's the only thing that's going to stop the person, because if you try to aim for a leg or an arm, it could, you'll miss because the target is smaller. That's the reason that they've been giving. I agree with you, Jassy. I smell a huge cover up but you know what? That's what they would have done with George Floyd if there weren't the video, because remember, the police report was nothing like what we saw on the video. So that goes to show, that's why there's been an investigation launched into that police department and into Louisville. And now the FBI is investigating the situation with this young man. The judge said, no, wow, that is so crazy. So they're not going to release the video. That is crazy. Thank you for that, Connie. The judge said no. Wow. Wait a minute. I have another comment here. The judge ruled in favor for the release, but the cop will be redacted. Also, the judge said he had to release it. And some of the other things are going to be extracted. So the cover-up begins. You are right. You are right. It is a cover-up. It's a cover-up in progress. They don't want you to know everything that happened with that young man. They always want to show the ugly side. And here, and I hear all of this, oh, it was a drug bust, it was this. I don't care. That's somebody's child and somebody's father. I don't care what he did.
But Anita, don't worry about it. Somebody else got a video. Somebody else always, just like the young lady with George Floyd.
Somebody got a
come on, somebody. It's all, listen, they would have covered up George Floyd. Well, they tried to cover up.
The police report was different from what happened.
Yeah. So that's all right. Yeah. Like you said, Anita, the greatest of all time, he watching.
Thank you. The greatest of all, the real GOAT is watching.
The real GOAT.
For sure. Then we have another one. This one was so unreal to me because this young man was on the phone with the 911 dispatcher talking, and I could, in my sanctified imagination, hear him saying, "I'm gonna kill him." When people are talking, but as he's walking towards them, there was a couple of things that was said that just really bothered me. Because first of all, he shot 10 times. He was on a cordless phone with a 911 dispatcher at the time. On the audio that I heard on the news, an officer said, "Wait, he has a gun to his head." So here's my thinking. If he has a gun to his own head, where is the need to shoot somebody who's trying to kill themselves 10 times? What sense does that make?
It makes none. It makes
no sense. If he has a gun to his own head, that's a reason to shoot him 10 times.
Yeah.
I'm floored.
Why wasn't he tased? Well, wait a minute. They don't know the difference between a gun and a taser.
Gun and a phone. But they don't know the difference between a gun and a cell phone or a gun and a taser. Well, then you don't need to be a cop.
It's almost like it's immediate.
The first day of cop school. This is a gun, a taser. This is a cell phone. This is a gun. Even a young man who was shot in Chicago had both hands up. Show me your hands. He showed your hands. He turned around. You shoot him in the chest and kill him. It makes no sense.
Mm-mm.
But he had a gun and he tossed it. But when he turned around, clearly, and there were a few seconds, it was a quick turn. He turned around, he stopped, he showed both hands, and you still shot him.
He obeyed the command. Now you say, they don't comply.
They don't comply. Yeah. He complied, and he's dead. George Floyd complied. And he's dead.
Yes.
Philando Castile complied. He's dead. Tamir Rice was a baby. He's dead. It makes no sense to me. I still, am in prayer about the attack from all ends on African-American men. There's an attack from all ends, and the devil is a liar. We have got to pray for our young Black men and all of our Black men. We've got to pray for them. There's something I heard tonight on a commentary, and I'm going to save it for another thing because we're going to deal with something else, but it really drove home the fact that we need to constantly be in prayer for the African-American man. Something. Well, and here's the thing. When you think you're getting by with stuff, justice is around the corner. Because like you said, the original GOAT is watching. Because, just like the investigation was launched on the police department in Minnesota. So is Louisville, and now the FBI is going after the whole investigation behind this young man's death, whose hands were on the steering wheel. Makes no sense. Yes, all of them absolutely cover cover them all. Amen, Connie. Cover our Black men. And you have sons, husband, brothers, father, uncles, cover them in prayer because there is an attack. So we're gonna keep the party moving. We don't even want to get by. I mean, that's just like that's one of those heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching moments.
Yeah.
But we got some other stuff going on.
Moving. We keep it moving.
So we're going to keep it moving. We have some other stuff that's going on in society that we want to talk about tonight. And this one, and then when you sent me this today, I was like, you know what? And I was trying to find like pictures of them. And the only thing I could find of this guy was this. And actually, this is the actual conversation. So I'm going to let you take this, Annette.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This guy, he was off the chain. He was a city councilman who refused to address a councilwoman by doctor. And they end up firing him. She complained about him. He kept telling her, well, I prefer to be addressed as doctor, whatever. He said, well, your name on Zoom shows whatever her name was. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But he would not do it. It was like he was just like he was not going to call this lady doctor. And obviously she earned that degree. And
just disrespectful.
Disrespectful. But you know what? They did it to our first lady. They wrote an op-ed on her. She's not a real doctor. Well, what's a real doctor? But he was
removed.
Yeah. And it's interesting. She never lost her cool. A lot of people saying they would have lost it with him. He was so nasty to her. You know, so I have a right to if you call me whatever, I maybe say I prefer to be called Mrs. Anderson. I have that right. But he would not do it. And so, you know, and they went back and forth. They
went back and forth because her name was Carrie Rosario or something like that. And he kept saying Mrs. Rosario and she said Dr. Rosario. And they kept going back and forth.
Back and forth. He would not do it. And so she complained to the other councilman, and you know they did, and in other words, they kicked him off the council because I guess they were like, "No, we're not gonna have that kind of behavior." And you don't have. And what I loved about this story so much, Anita, because she stood her ground. We don't have to let nobody, you know, make us feel inferior or like they're better than us or whatever the case may be. So she stood her ground. I am who I am. I earned this. This doctorate degree was not an honorary doctorate degree. This is something she earned, and she had a right to say, "This is what I want to be called."
His name is Tony Collins. That's the guy's name. Ridiculous. I was so annoyed by that. Jennifer said he was so rude. Yes, he was.
He was
very rude and disrespectful. And there's always the evidence of systematic racism that is denied. And it's true. I mean, it exists and it comes out in those conversations. And, you know, it's almost like he was annoyed that she was an educated woman, that she was educated and a doctor, and he did not want to acknowledge that. He didn't want to acknowledge that. He didn't want to give her props. You know what? That's some foolishness. And he gets a serious down. And he gets the serious, you know, I get so annoyed sometimes and I just want to do more, but hey, we just got to leave it at that. And we won't do any cussing from the pulpit.
But it worked out. What he thought he was really doing something and it cost him. It cost him. And so we have to stand up, ladies and gents. We have to stand up for what we believe.
Have to stand up. Can't bow down. Hey, we got another interesting one, and I want to so bad. Carrie said thumbs down. I want to so bad to go into a whole lot of the conversation on this young man, but I can't. And I know a lot of y'all have seen it, but we're gonna keep it moving.
Moving. We keep it moving.
Well, this guy right here, I I actually watched The Breakfast Club. For those of you who don't know, this is Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm sure a lot of you have heard some of his interviews and commentary. And Dr. Umar Johnson is a doctor of clinical psychology and certified school psychologist. He specializes in working with parents of African American children who receive special education and or are diagnosed with disruptive behavior disorders. I really commend him for that work, because I actually played a huge part, and my sister-in-law is on here. She and I were both, I remember us being in conferences with everybody from the Volusia County school system regarding my great nephew, which is her grandson, when he was young, and they were trying so bad to give him a very bad IEP, and I was adamantly against it, because I know what that does to a young Black man. And remember when I had Demetrius, I'm talking about Demetrius and that. So Connie and I were both adamant. I remember us sitting with, they had everybody from the behavior specialist to the teacher, like 2 or 3 people from the county, trying to talk us into allowing them to put him in varying exceptionalities. And I said, well, a couple of things you weren't going to do. You weren't going to label him emotionally handicapped. You weren't going to put him in varying exceptionalities. He was where he needed to be. He was in language. He had a delayed language, but he was not, a kid who needed that type of attention. And I was frustrated that they wanted to label him. And so we fought it, and I made them keep him where they put him. But Jassy said his degrees are bogus. He's intelligent. I don't know nothing about his schooling, but he's intelligent. But I was watching him do his commentary, and the beast that we're talking about, because he does that. He takes young people like what we dealt with my nephew, and he helps his parents to get them on the right track. So I commend what he does in that regard, because it's needed a lot, because most of the time the system just put them in the system and they leave them there until they grow up and become a problem, and then they put them in the prisons.
That's right.
They build the prisons based on those IEPs. So I'm 100% for what he does in that regard. But when I was watching some of his commentary, there's nothing like an educated fool. Come on, Connie. Y'all are true tonight. I was watching some of his commentary, and he did a little bit of, I'm going to show a small clip, and then I'm going to just hear what you guys think about it. Jesse said, I'm going to be nice, but dude is a fraud. Hey, you're entitled to your opinion. But listen, I was so moved by this commentary just to have discussion about it. I was like, wow, that's interesting. So I'm going to show just a little piece of it, and then we're going to discuss it.
For example, we had a lot of great scholars. Take my ancestor, Frederick Douglass, who knew their history and still marry white women. How did that happen? Now, yes, he was an old man. I give him that. His first wife, Anna Murray Douglass, a blue, black, purple chocolate woman with nappy hair of 50 years, who birthed all of his children. It was after she died that he married the white woman, but nonetheless, he married a white woman. Had Frederick Douglass not married that white woman, he would be undisputably the greatest black leader that ever walked on American soil. But because of that one mistake that he made. But the question again is, why did he do that? Because guess what?
So, of course, the commentary was much longer. And him and a couple of the other guys were getting into this conversation. He was saying, well, how can I tell my son, not to love who he loves? If he falls in love with someone, we live in a predominantly white neighborhood. He sees mostly white kids at school. If he falls in love with a white girl, how is it my responsibility? He's like, absolutely. And there was so much of what he said that I agree with, because it made sense. But, he takes it to the extreme. Of course, I'm not, going to give a comment on that, because I don't want anybody to say, oh, Anita said people shouldn't date outside of their race. If that was the case, I wouldn't be here. So at the end of the day, he said, what he said to this one guy, he said, can the white girl deal with all of the stuff that your son has to face as a black man? Can she possibly relate? He said, oh no, but that ain't what he said. He said another choice word. And he was like, then why wouldn't you teach him to love a black woman? And I'm paraphrasing. So I was like, wow. I was wowed by the conversation. Of course, it caused a major uproar all over the blogs. And I want to know what y'all think, but I want to know what you think of that.
Well, when I was listening, I listened to it, and I'm not going to call him a fraud because I really don't know that much about him. But I a lot of times when people of color tend to be a little stronger in areas, we tend to find fault with them because we're all these other psychologists and psychiatrists, we don't know if they're frauds or not because they of color. We don't go and say, "Ooh, he's not the one" or whatever. But I personally, I don't know if I agree with him as far as about the marriage part because I'm kind of like you. If it had not been, because my grandma and stuff, they white,
Right.
so I can't say. That's almost like me denouncing who I am because
Uh-huh.
that's my lineage.
Right.
So I don't know about it. But a lot of times with a lot of men, see, by the time they're men, they already been taught the story of that. We teach our boys and our girls the story. When
Mhm.
watch out for police. All that's in a black family. We teach them. I
Mhm.
taught my daughters. Because they kill girls too. They kill women too.
I just saw
Accidentally,
a video where they pulled a woman, a 60-something-year-old woman, out of a car on the highway by
yeah,
her hair, and
hmm
then injured her rotor cuff in her
yeah,
arm
and
because she
laughed
didn't
about
know
it.
that. Yeah, and they were laughing at
Yeah,
her on the side of the road. The lady
yeah.
was crying in pain.
Yeah, so they do stuff. We just hear 'em because there's so many black men. But when George Floyd died, Crump was saying it was a black woman had got shot while she was laying on the ground that he had to investigate. So I never did
Right,
follow.
they shot her in
But
the head. I saw
they
that.
shot.
I looked at that article.
So I definitely disagree with him when he says about who you love, but I won't necessarily I won't necessarily talk against him because he's speaking from, I guess, where, because we all speak from where we are or what we've
Hmm.
learned or what we lived through. Because I listened to something he said, I was raised by my daddy.
Hmm.
I would say, huh, interesting.
Hmm.
So who's to say what was instilled in him as a young man and
Hmm.
what pushed him to say, listen, I'm going to go help these young black boys and black folks. Now to me, he may go too far, but before I would really cut him out, because listen, I don't believe half the stuff people of other persuasions say. So some of them are frauds, if the truth be told.
Yeah.
But I just disagree with him about. I agree with him that maybe maybe a white woman can't tell you how to feel, but I don't even know that because there are so many white women who've had black children. Because
True.
the young man that just got killed, isn't his mother white?
His
Was she
mother's
white?
white. Yes. Hmm.
Yeah. And who was he on the phone with? His
He was on
mama.
the phone with her. He called his
With his
mom.
mama. So I can't even say white women can't tell you because if that's my black kid, I think she probably know enough. She may not know the total dynamics, but as a mama, you reach down and you know some stuff that even daddy sometimes don't even know about. So I
Okay.
don't know. That's a mama thing. I don't care
Hmm.
if you're white, green, orange, or yellow. Mama's got a way. Mama's got a way of taking 10 cents and feeding, and getting a quart out of it.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
I
Yeah.
mean, my thing, I guess the whole point about this commentary on him is that he spoke from a vantage point that he doesn't have respect for anybody that, especially, well, he was particularly talking about black men. But there are a few statistics that he brought up that made me go, So you guys can go and watch it. It's of course on YouTube. It was his interview on the Breakfast Club, the latest one. I think the cover is yellow, and he said something about that in America, black men are it's such a large portion of black men. They outnumber the number of people globally. I mean, in the country that marries outside of their race. And he's like, it's like double and triple. He's black men are the ones, and it's all he said. It's systematic that it's passed down, which I do agree. In a lot of cases, that's it, because there are a lot. I have had black men that I know who I thought, who I called friend or whatever, and then I heard him say something. I heard this one friend of mine say something one day. He was talking to another guy, and the guy was like, he said, yeah, he said, oh, something they were talking about dating white women or something. He said, oh, well, my woman is white, and all of the mother of my children are white. He was a Jamaican guy, and he said, black women. Ugh. And I looked at him like, really? You saying that about me, and I'm your friend, and your mother He was like Homer talked about. Frederick Douglass' first wife was black. What do you say, black, blue, purple? This blue, black, purple woman. He was blue, black, purple, as was his mother. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me that you like do the vomit sign to black women? Period. You just put us all in the box like that. Blech. No, I mean as far as dating. I'm like, so I'm not dateable? He's like, no, I'm not. No, not you. But I'm just saying my experience. I say, no, that goes far from just your experience with one black woman. That has a lot to do with you. It has nothing to do with the black women in general. You hate you. You hate your skin. You hate being blue, black, purple. When you go to black women, that bothered me. But I've seen so many instances where there are people. I had a friend years ago, and she was like, I don't do black men. And now she's married to one after having married a man. I think this guy that she married was Iranian or something like that, or Pakistan or something. He dogged her to smithereens. And here, years later, she's married to an incredible black man and has a child. So I've seen it both ways. Why? You're right, Connie. It was all on him. I'm like, that had nothing to do with me. Blech, black women. Had nothing to do with the black women that you dated. Had everything to do with you. So, anywho, I really love the commentary that I saw. I don't agree with a whole lot of it. I don't agree with a whole lot of what I don't totally. But I don't know. I'm gonna give him a little up.
Yeah.
Because
he's speaking from his perspective, and that's what we have to understand.
He's trying to give some information.
Yeah, he's speaking from because we think about it, y'all. We're just, if the truth be told, we're just really having the black experience. Because even growing up in school, now I'm 60 something, okay, but growing up in school, we learned about maybe 3 or 4 black folks. In other words, ain't no other black folks in the whole world did nothing but them 3 or 4. But then when I got older, like, wait a minute, I didn't learn that in school. I didn't learn. They didn't teach a whole lot. Now they are. Now, of course, when I was coming up, you didn't have access to internet and all that kind of stuff. But I'm learning more now that I'm an adult that I didn't know the black experience, that we did a whole lot of stuff that nobody told me about when I was in school.
Listen, we were left out of a whole lot.
Oh, somebody say sorry that I did in New York, but not in, listen, I grew up in Bunnell, Florida, with one red light, one grocery store, one bank. I did not learn, okay? And we were segregated, and we got books from the other school that was ripped to the floor most of the time. So yeah, my point is this, kind of, it's still your perspective. It depends on where you're from, what you live through, whatever. So that makes us who we are, our experiences, and hopefully once we get older, then we evolve. Oh, I'm pretty smart. I'm pretty smart, like not Connie, but I ain't know nothing. I knew Martin Luther King, like go Martin Luther King.
But you know what? You only knew what they taught us in the books that was so watered down that told us that Christopher Columbus discovered America.
That's right.
Even a holiday. That holiday needs to come down. That's the most ridiculous holiday.
That's right. And how nice we were to the Indians. No, we wasn't. They told we were nice, and they gave us corn.
Come on, Annette, you are so right.
That's the truth. And then we thought, like, the little Indian, and they didn't tell how they brutalized. I mean, of course, I learned it later. But again, it's your perspective, how you grew up.
And they gave us corn.
Yeah, and that's why we have Can We Talk, so we can become more informed.
Come on, exactly. So we become more informed, keeping it light but keeping it real. Sure. Man, okay. Well, we have a couple more. We coming off of the bandwagon of the angry. Let me see. We got a couple of comments. Oh, they stole. Yes, they did, Connie. They stole everything. But you know what? Everything. And I'm gonna jump on it, but jump back on it, but jump right back on. But everywhere they go, they steal everything. Every country. Have you noticed? Then they go to everybody's country and like take over these islands, and you go, "Oh, this is Dutch, and this is this." I'm like, what? Steal everything. They have given it to the indigenous people. Hey, that's what I'm saying. And let me tell you, the poor Indians. I'm like, y'all stole this land from them, then claimed that you gave that you came and gave them corn, and that we had a great feast and all of that foolishness. Well, we're gonna keep it moving right along. We got some other stuff that we got to talk about. God, yeah, that's what I'm saying. We got some other stuff that we need to talk about, so we're gonna keep it moving right along. We're gonna go on to our next topics, y'all.
Moving. We keep it moving.
Yes,
I just love
moving.
that.
Loves that moving. I'm gonna do it for you again.
Moving. We keep it moving.
Girl, I give
She just began and she had to like this.
like yes.
So
I
now
do it
moving
every
on
time.
to the next one. This one I thought was amazing. I saw a clip of a young lady sitting out there looking at this exhibit, which is in Minneapolis, Minnesota, that honors 100 Black victims of police violence.
Come on.
And when you look at it from that perspective, you know, I you know what? The other day I was watching I don't remember what, I think it was the day, was it the day of the verdict? It was a day of something. And I saw President Biden was at the Arlington Cemetery. And when you look across the field and you see thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of the tombstones, it just like, it says something to you like, oh my God, all these people gave their lives in, you know, military combat in this country, or died, you know, sometimes some of them were not even, you know, friendly fire, some dying, you know, different situations, but they gave their lives, they you know, served with their lives. But then when you look at that particular cemetery and you see all of these tombstones, and I love how they have that say their names on the grass on the other side, but it says it so differently, that these are people who lost their lives in police shootings. This is only 100, and it's not everybody. That's not everybody. But what a beautiful tribute. I literally loved this tribute. And I saw a young lady sitting out, you know, and she took her baby, and she's like, it's just amazing to see it from this perspective. So I give it definitely a up on that. Very, very nice. Very nice. Somebody has a comment. Let me see. Oh, yes, Connie, powerful. Very powerful. It speaks volumes though. But you know, and we have to remember them. We have to keep saying their names. We have to remember, you know, even though we got, you know, and one thing about it though, you know, sometimes we could get so complacent, especially now that we had the one verdict. But I'm like, not glad that these people got killed, but I'm glad that people realize that just because we got a verdict doesn't mean it stopped, because not even before the verdict came in, there was another one. And then since the verdict, it's almost like the verdict just made them more trigger happy. But the truth of the matter is there are so many more that happen that we just don't see them in that. There's so many more shootings that take place. And I saw an article, I pulled an article open that named more. It's like about 8 or 9 since the verdict, but there are only like maybe 3 that made the news. Can you believe it? It's been at least that many, but not every shooting has made the news. It is ridiculous. It's almost like they got more and more trigger happy. I don't get it. But we have another one. We have a funny one. I'm gonna let you take this one. This is one of yours that you brought in. But we have a funny one that you probably actually, I didn't know this until you sent it to me, because I've been missing some of the information on news and television lately because I've been working. But we have a cute one coming up.
Moving. We keep it moving.
Now this one, I'm gonna put up the picture. Look at that. You know what? When you look at them side by side, they actually look alike.
They actually do. They are cousins, y'all. And when I was trying to find out a little more information how they were cousins, you know, with mama, but they were saying they went to some type of root or DNA type of situation, and they found out that way they were related. Because when I first saw it, I was like, well, is it, you know, 2 sister children, 2 brothers? No, they say that's how they found out that they're related and that they're cousins.
That's RuPaul and Cory Booker.
Brenda put on it. You know what, Brenda?
Brenda Jackson.
Listen, Nita, Brenda get a ting, 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 ting.
That's a good one, Brenda.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
but that's how they found out that they're related. And they say he on one of RuPaul's final show that Cory Booker actually went on the show. I don't know if he dressed up it or not. I was trying to find out the information. But yes, I said, well, ain't no telling who we're kin to now with that DNA and all those different roots and whatever else is out there. But that's how they found out.
Wow, that's crazy.
And
Never would've-
you can see they definitely could be related. Yeah, you can see that. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like,
That's
Yeah.
crazy though. But you know what? That's why it's important to know, like, back in the day, in our day, our family would, when you brought somebody home, the first thing your mom would say, well, who's your people?
Who your
Who your
people?
people? Who your people? And you're like, who your people? But nowadays, people don't even know. And I have literally in my family, my cousin that we had just found out that a guy that he thought was his friend that he used to call his cousin was actually his cousin.
Wow.
They were actually cousins. And he didn't know, he found out during our discovery of him that this young man that he had been friends with and knowing for all those years was actually related. And he said, we used to play around and call each other cousins. And then now we're finding out that we actually are cousins. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And that happens a lot. That's why it's important to know, because you couldn't come in my house if my mama didn't know who your people were. Who your people? And if I didn't bring the information in there to her, she would ask them. And I always thought, even though back then I always thought that was the most embarrassing question. Who your people? I'd be like, who your people?
I still do it. I was singing with a girl. I kept looking at the girl. I said, who your people? I was like, who your people? Because she looked just like Elena. I was looking at her, and she said, when she said, well, my mom did it, I said, that's Elena's sister. I could see.
Wow.
I could see it.
You could see it.
Yes, I knew some kind of, because he had a lot of kids. So that's what I said. And I'm old school, y'all. Sorry. Who your people now? Now I do the same thing now, and I have to. It comes back to how you were reared and how your age and what you've been exposed to. And I'm like your mom. I still say who your people. Now my kids are grown. I don't have to monitor, but I used to monitor. I want to know who are you. Just in case I ain't want y'all at my house.
You better know. You better know. Man, she said, that's right. Grandma did not play. No, she did not, Connie. She had to know. Oh, man. But we got one more, y'all. I know we done ran over just a little bit, but we have one more that we want to discuss tonight. And this is exciting. And we're happy to share this one. This is her name is Kim Godwin. The Walt Disney Company has named Kimberly Godwin president of ABC News. Godwin, a longtime producer and executive at CBS News, will become the first Black woman to lead a broadcast news division. She succeeds James Golston, who has stepped down as president of ABC News earlier this year. And so she will actually start in early May. And I mean, this one I'm so happy about, because it's like, I said it to Kyle, and I said it to a couple of other people, that I believe that this year, Jazzy talking about you need to ask or be married to your brother or sister. I believe, I said it, and we've said it on here too. But we said it on here too, that in this day and age, you have to be mindful that there is something happening with the African American woman.
Yeah.
I remember me and Kyle got into this whole conversation about where the next move of the body of Christ is going to come from. Man, what's going to happen with that? And I was like, you can say what you want to say, but in this day and age, the African American woman has a say. The Black woman, a woman with brown skin like me, going to be calling a whole lot of shots. A whole lot of shots. I was like, look, I am proud to be a Black woman in this day and age. And when I see stuff like that, It makes me happy, and I give her ups all day long. Hey, we got to give her one for the Father, one for the Son, one for the Holy Spirit, for the original, real GOAT, the greatest of all times. Because only he did that, and I'm so happy.
Yeah.
That's great. Yes.
Yeah.
It is
Because we smart.
Mm-hmm. We smart. We are kind. We important. Yes, we are. Man, time flies when you're having fun.
Oh,
I didn't even realize it was even 8 o'clock. We were talking. But people, thank you all so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are excited to, yes, Carrie, a woman of color will be sitting behind the president tonight. Yeah, I'm going to rush ahead so I can see it. But we are so excited that you guys stopped by. You could have gone anywhere else, but we thank you so much that you stopped by to be with us tonight for Can We Talk, for the trending topics and social and current events, our tea time topics, our power tool, and all of the wonderful things. Look at Kyle. Yeah, he know I said it. I said it. It was going to be the black woman. Yes, you better believe it. So we're excited that you guys stopped by. You could have gone anywhere else, but you stopped by here and you had a conversation with us tonight, and we appreciate you guys showing up. And we ask that you would take a moment, and this video that you're watching, if it's on Facebook or if it's on YouTube, please take a minute and give it a thumbs up, like this video. Also, we ask that you would click the share button and share it to your timeline, share it in your messengers, share it with a friend, share it in your email, share it in your text, lottie dottie and everybody. Let somebody know. And we want to make sure that you know that we are here every single week. We have not missed. If we missed, we did it on a different night. And it's been only a couple of times with technical difficulties and different things. However, we are here every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. But before 7 p.m. on Wednesday, Tuesday night, Annette is coming up with Tuesday Night Talk. That's TNT, where she speaks it, orates it, articulates it, and reverberates it. So she soars on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. live on our platforms. We're here on Wednesday, 7 p.m., trending topics and current events. And we also are here on Sundays when you want to get a word from the Lord. We are here on Sundays at 10 a.m. live on our platforms with Power Walk Sunday, where we invite you and encourage you and inspire you to walk into your God-given destiny with power and conviction. That's Power Walk Sunday, and there's always a word for you. So we're grateful for any time that you stop by, but we also ask that you sow good seed into good soil. We are a nonprofit organization, movement worldwide, a motivational organization veered to educate minds, empower, nurture, and transform. A movement to move. Y'all see Annette turn? She always rolls her neck when we say move. So you can sow via Cash App at $ Movement Worldwide. That's $ Movement Worldwide. Or you can become a patron. And the way you become a patron, and that's $12 a month, 40 cents a day. Or you can set your own amount, which some have done, and they've gone higher. And we are so grateful. We're grateful for those things, but we're also grateful for whatever. I don't care what the amount is, but we're more grateful for you coming, for you being here, for your presence. So you become a patron by going to our website, which is movementworldwide.org. You click the red button that says become a patron. It'll take you to a site called patreon.com, where you can sign up and you can set your amount. So, and we love you too, Connie. We love you too. And we got to get I got your information. We'll be advertising Connie and her conversations. Yes. And trust me, we will be in the house. So thank you all again so much. But make sure that you subscribe, like, share, sow a seed, tell somebody, and make sure you come back and see us. You want to say anything before we leave, Annette?
Yeah, I want to say thank you so much. We just love you guys. We love the input, and we just want to thank you from the bottom of our heart. And just know, just know that me and Anita are not psychiatrists or psychologists, but we're lifeologists. And what we do is share the life. So I just want to put that out there. That's our disclaimer. So whatever we say is because we lifeologists, okay?
Yes, we live an experience and we just want to have a practical conversation. That's what we do on Wednesday. Now on Sunday, if y'all were here on Sunday, Annette preached. And then the Sunday before that, Brenda Jackson preached. So if you want to work from the Lord, trust me, we got that for you. We got you covered. On Wednesday nights, we keep it light with trending topics and social and current events. And we do have our transformational topic and our power tool. So remember to also send us a message about Power Tool. If you have a topic that you want to discuss, please send that.
Yeah.
But thank you again, y'all. Y'all have a good one. We are so blessed to have you with us.
Oh my
And you all
God,
enjoy
yes.
the balance of your week. Be safe. Watch your surroundings. Be prayerful. Pray for our Black men everywhere. Pray for our Black men. And we love you guys. And we'll see you again. Same time, same place, different topic, all to encourage you. Good night, everybody. Mwah.
Walk into your God-given destiny with power and conviction with Power Walk Sunday, starting March 7th, each and every Sunday at 10 a.m. live on multiple platforms. TNT, that's Tuesday Night Talk with Annette L. Anderson, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. live, where you can soar. That's speak it, orated, articulated, and reverberated. When we eat well, we live well, and all will be well. Go to eatlbwell.com, join the journey, and take your life back. You can also join Eat Well, Live Well, Be Well every second and fourth Saturday at 3 p.m. for Be Well, a health and wellness series. If you don't have your copy, get yours today at Amazon.com. That's Living Life One Quote at a Time by Annette L. Anderson. And we're here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. live with Can We Talk? Your co-hosts, Annette L. Anderson and Anita Faye Wilson, with Tea Time Topics, where we discuss trending subjects and current events. You can also discuss these with your Can We Talk coffee mug. Email us at info@movementworldwide.org. They're $15, and that includes shipping. Make a donation via Cash App at $Movement Worldwide, or go to our website, click the Patron button, and sow a seed of $12 per month. That's 40 cents a day. Whatever the seed, it's greatly appreciated. Be sure to follow us on all platforms. Click the notification button, subscribe, like, and don't forget to share.